started because I think it's going to broadcast. Oh, it just went to live. So welcome everyone. If you could mute yourself at this point, that would be great. We welcome you here to our Shabbat of Passover. I'm wearing my matzah tie. That means we have a little bit more matzah left. Depending on your tradition, it might be 1 day or 2 days. And we're going to enjoy it together. And we're really happy to see all of you. I hope it's been a nice Passover. Let's take a nice deep breath of Shabbat and Passover air. As I said, we breathe in the matzah and we breathe out our leavening. So we're gonna turn it over to Bruce Corris, who will do the official welcome. Thank you, Bruce.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Happy Passover.
Shabbat Shalom.
As we hit the home stretch of our second pandemic Passover. But once again, we make do, we persevere. And that's the theme of what you'll see in the story in the newspaper tomorrow that quotes Rabbi Alex. We do what we can, and our traditions, while they are different, live on. It was nice to see so many of you Sunday night at our community Seder. Which again is a new way of celebrating Passover together. We were able to bring together 4 congregations, and everyone was able to be together and enjoy each other's company and partake of something new, which we could not have done in person because we would have had this one trying to do a 3-hour Seder and this one doing a 1-hour Seder and this one saying it's got to be kosher and this one saying it's okay if it isn't, and everyone complaining about the soup. So this time, anyone who complained about the soup was complaining about their own soup, which is fine with me. Anyway, but it's nice to see everyone, and we are continuing. We hope you've enjoyed all of our Passover offerings this year, and we have more to come because the Passover is not over yet. I hope everyone is looking forward to their pizza, whether that's tomorrow night or Sunday night, depending on your tradition. Again, our traditions carry on. So I'll be back a little later with the announcements of everything that's coming up. And in the meantime, Shabbat Shalom again, everyone.
Thank you, Bruce. And I was quoting you in the article. So, as we're coming in, we're going to turn it over to Cantor and Mike. Just make sure that you're on mute. I saw a couple people off. That just has nothing to do with you. It's just the way the Zoom screen works. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Cantor, to start us off with some music.
Sorry, I'm just not seeing screen share on there, so just hang on.
Okay.
Cantor, just make sure you're unmuted. Let's make sure. I think we're having some technical difficulties. Let me see if I can find Cantor.
Rabbi, I don't see her.
Yeah, let's see. She's probably coming back on again. Let me just take a look.
Are we there?
We're at 2 different screens. Welcome to those of you coming in. It's been a nice.
She's coming back on now.
Is she back on now? Okay, thank you. And Joanne is managing everything from the background. So let's, Cantor, do you have screen share now? Oh, just, I think you're still off audio, Cantor.
Yes, I was just checking everything. Can you hear me now?
Oh yeah, you sound great.
Great, thanks. Here we go. Sorry for the delay. יתית נפש אב רחמן, יתית נפש אב רחמן, ושוך עבדך, רצונך, ושוך עבדך, רצונך, ירוץ עבדך, כמו ים, ישתחווה עליי, אל מול הדרך, ירוץ עבדך, כמו ים, ישתחווה עליי, אל מול הדרך. יתית נפש אב רחמן, יתית נפש אב רחמן, משוך עבדך, רצונך, משוך עבדך, רצונך.
Wonderful. It's very spiritual to sing about God as our beloved. And we're going to light our candles for Shabbat and do Kiddush now. If you haven't lit already, feel free to light your candles now. And it's Shel Shabbat and Yom Tov.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kirshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner, shel Shabbat v'shel Yom Tov.
I can see our candles glowing. We had a wonderful candle lighting before. And now we raise our glasses as we sanctify the day of Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit, ki hu yom techilah lenikra'ei kodesh, zecher etziat v'yitzrayim, kivanu v'acharta v'yotanu kidashta mikol hamim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uv'ratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai v'kadesh haShabbat.
L'chaim, to life. We don't need 4 cups tonight, just 1. We have L'chado D as we welcome in Shabbat. We'll sing that first verse together, and then the last verse we rise and we'll face our doorway wherever they are. And we'll pretend like we're all together in the same room as we bow to Shabbat and we welcome each other into this space.
Lecha lecha dodi, niklat nikakala, v'nipulish בשמחה ובצהלה, תקמוני ים סגולה, בואי כלה, בואי כלה, וכאן לך דודי, לקראת לך כלה, ונפרד שבת נקבלה, לכאן לך דודי, לקראת לך כלה, ונפרד שבת נקבלה, לה 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 לה, לך דודי, לקראת לך כלה, ונפרד שבת נקבלה, לך לך דודי, לקראת לך כלה, ונפרד שבת
We remain standing for our call to prayer, the Baruch Hu.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMavorach, Baruch Adonai HaMavorach Leolam Vaed.
O God, you are as near as the very air we breathe, yet farther than the farthermost star. We yearn to reach you. We seek the light and warmth of your presence. Though we say you are near, we are lonely and alone. Oh, let our desire be so strong that it will tear the veil that keeps you from our sight. Let your light release our darkness and reveal the glory and joy of your presence. We remain standing.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malkuto Leolam Vaed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malkuto Leolam Vaed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
You may be seated.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol yotecha ve'hayu ha'devarim ha'ele asher Anochi b'tzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinata levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha v'lechtecha b'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha ug'shartam leot hayatecha ve'ayu letotafot b'neinecha uchtavtam hamezuzot b'techa uv'ish'arecha leman tizkeru masitem et kol mitzvotai item kedoshim Elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim להיות לכם אלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
We Before we sing Mi Chamocha, I have a poem from Gloria Tatuski. She's been sending me some poems, and this is about freedom. It's called The Sweet Taste of Freedom. When Moses told Pharaoh his mind was too narrow, he planted the seed that transformed the word into a deed. Once the people could feel it, they could no longer conceal it. It gathered momentum and picked up speed. The Passover story in all of its glory inspired others to follow our lead. With freedom for all to stand proud and tall at their best when they are free. Let my people go is the great noble thought that echoed through the centuries, etched in our memories, waiting to be taught. We owe it all to Moses and the destiny that chose us for the sweet taste of freedom that made the world a better place to be. Thank you, Gloria. And we'll continue with the Mi Chamocha.
In honor of Passover, to Adirhu.
Give us a place to rest, Adonai our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety. In your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, hapares sukat shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim.
Shabbat
Well, if that didn't get your heart pounding, thank you, Cantor Mike. We're going to take time for our silent meditation now. So find the words of your heart, of your soul that you need to speak out to God. And we'll just take a minute or two and then resume services. So just take this time for yourself.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tov beinecha levabein et Amcha Yisrael bechol lev ubechol shah. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
We take time now to think about those who are in need with our healing prayer, our Misha Berach. And as a community, we're thinking about Lee Applebaum, Linda Bergman, Andrew Joseph Bernard, Marietta Bratton, Sonia Breitbart, Kim Brodsky, Michael Berwick, Karen Cooper, Arthur Dzielke, Dave Gajewski, Irene Green, Nancy Hersbrun, Sue Hill, Howard Hilfstein, Ruth Lansing, Diane Lynch, Sam Kurse, Kathy Mass, Michael Massimo, Jennifer Milich, Frank Petrie, Karen Place, Richard Radis, Martin and Barbara Scher, Michael Citrin, Diane Simons, Gail Willig Smith, Gretchen Solander, Lorenzo Stewart, Cindy Walgate, Fred Weiner, Lauren Wolf and family, Hannah Ezra Ben Shuel. And we also have, thank you for sharing names as well. We are also thinking about Stacy DeBruin, Sharon Burstein Walker, David Deutsch, Ruth Dunphy, Rachel Don, Kathy T. Baby Kyra, Richie Merlot, Kate Cooper, and Stephen Bernstein. We'll keep all those names into our hearts as Cantor on the Capitol Police. Thank you, Terry. As Cantor sing and Mike sing Mishabach.
בכל הברכה לאמותינו. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shalema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
A complete healing of body and soul. We know that the prayers you sent out will go the places they need, and we hope that those people continue to heal, and those among us who are in need as well. So Cantor's going to take down her screen share now, and thank you. So wonderful to be able to hear Cantor and Mike, and one day we'll all be in person and be able to sing together. I know that's all of our dreams together. So this time frame that we're in Passover. We're also beginning our journey to the next holiday. We have a connection between two holidays, Passover and Shavuot, the Feast of Weeks. And these holidays are tied together by the Seder that we begin counting on our second night. When we gathered for our largest ever internet Zoom Seder, we had 100 screams or something like 200 participants. We started the count. We had Cantor Spindler recite the prayers about the counting, and we've continued till tonight as we begin that first week. I thought it would be good, because we're on Zoom and it's actually really easy to show you different things, to show you what the Omer is and to kind of clarify what's happening. It's a little bit of a mystery, but I think this might be helpful to you in understanding this most mysterious part of our tradition. So I'm going to share my other screen from my Google Chromebook. If you see me looking away in different directions, that's the reason. And it's just coming on now. Hopefully I'll get better at this. So here we are, Svirat HaOmer, and it means what it is, counting the Omer. And we'll explain everything along the way. First, we go to Leviticus, and this is Leviticus 10, the book that we're we're in already, but we're almost up to this section. And here it says, "Speak to the Israelite people and say to them, when you enter the land I'm giving to you and reap its harvest, you shall bring the first sheaf of your harvest." And we're going to talk what a sheaf is. And then the priest would elevate that. And it says at the bottom paragraph there, "From the day in which you bring the sheaf of elevation," so bringing forth because you're going up in holiness like we do to the Torah, "the day after the Sabbath, you shall count off 7 weeks. They must be complete. You must count until the day after the 7th week, 50 days. Then you shall bring an offering of new grain." So here we have the counting. The key thing, 50 actually isn't that interesting number biblically. It was 49 was more important, 7 times 7. The second reading that we get in the Torah about it is from Deuteronomy, so near the end of the Torah. And here it says, after eating your unleavened bread for 6 days, You shall hold a solemn gathering for Adonai your God. On the seventh day, you shall do new work. That's where we are right now. That's what we're celebrating. You shall count off 7 weeks. Start the count 7 weeks from the sickle is first put to the standing grain. Then you shall observe the Feast of Weeks for Adonai your God, offering a free will contribution accordingly as Adonai your God has blessed you. And here again, we have the mention of counting. That is the only obligation of this period, is to count. But what does it mean to count? So what are we counting exactly? We normally think of this as the barley harvest. I'm going to show you a list of harvests in the ancient world, but we know matzah is the bread of affliction. And actually barley, it turns out, is the grain of poverty, I learned. And I'll show you why exactly. So we know about this story. This is a picture of Ruth and Boaz, like a Renaissance picture. And when we see this connection to Shavuot and to this time period, when Naomi, Ruth's mother-in-law, returns from Moab, remember they were there for a famine, she returns with her daughter-in-law, Ruth the Moabite, and they arrive in Bethlehem at the beginning of the barley harvest. And here we have that first sense of it being a barley harvest. These are the different harvests that we have in Israel and the timing of them. They're harvesting throughout the year, different things. And you can see under April, you have barley. And you also, actually, I can show you here, right here. Here's under April, all sorts of legumes that and grains that you're doing. Wheat is in May. So why barley? So let's look into it exactly. Barley was a primary food grain in the ancient Israel. It was very nutritious, apparently, and they planted barley in the fall at the time of the first rain. So this would be around Sukkot. And then over winter, it sprouted in the spring and was harvested March to April. Wheat was planted at the same time, but it ripens a little bit later. Barley could be grown in poor soil and be broadcast into unplowed ground. Barley was dependable, disease-resistant crop, easier and less expensive to grow than wheat. So here you see it's the grain of poverty because it can grow. It's very robust and strong and actually extremely nutritious. You can get many barley products today, but it's not one of our main grains anymore. I think it's more of almost a delicacy. So though wheat, like in our day, became a preferred grain, barley still played an important part of the diet. The Israelites ate barley and oats as porridge and flatbreads and fed both grains to their animal. This is one of the key things. You can feed barley to the animals. Wheat wasn't used as animal food, and barley became known as the grain of the poor because of that. It was fed to the animals also, kind of like what we use corn today. Each village had a threshing floor that the farmers shared. These were expensive things to have, so you would share it. And the threshing floor was made of paved stone, or hard-packed dirt was located on flat, windy areas. Farmers piled their sheaves on the threshing floor, and cattle trampled over the grain to break up the straw. Actually, our Talmud class was looking at a section in Shekalim exactly about this, how when they tried to collect all the grain, the soldiers would throw it into the road and the livestock would trample it, but that's actually what they wanted it to happen. At some threshing floors, farmers hooked oxen to threshing boards embedded with obsidian chips or with spike rollers. Farmers tossed the threshed grain into the air with winnowing fork, allowing the wind to blow away the chaff. Women winnowed by tossing and catching the grain in flat baskets. So it was quite a lot of work to do this. And it was really a communal effort, as you can see. So when we think about what is a omer, an omer is actually a measure of grain. And here you have kind of a picture of it on the left-hand side of all these different things. You have an ephah, which is the largest by far. And that's maybe what they would have when they were selling things. And an omer, which is what we're counting, is a tenth of an ephah. You can see 22 liters compared to 2.2 liters. It's basically what you would call a sheaf. If you bundled up the barley, that's what would create the omer. It's interesting. I always thought of omer as being a little tiny thing, but when I was researching here, I didn't realize it was actually a whole sheaf of barley there. This time also is known as a very sad time, and this comes originally from the Talmud, where it talks about Rabbi Akiva. He had 12,000 pairs of students, so 24,000 students. And in that terrible time in Rome, after the destruction of the temple, they all died because they did not treat each other with respect. It's likely they died because of the Roman army, actually, and they were soldiers in it. And actually, that's part of our Passover story. We're actually reading about the revolt from Rome, but it's so coded, most people don't know that because it's just hidden underneath. With regard to the 12,000 pairs of Rabbi Akiva students, the Gemara adds, that the Gemara is the Talmud, it is taught that all of them died in the period from Passover until Shavuot. And that's where it comes into this period, this very sad time, that this is a time of death. And that really gets added to in the Middle Ages. If you know, Easter is celebrated this weekend. Easter was an extremely dangerous time for Jews. And Christians often thought that Jews were up to no good in Passover. There was a lot of terrible lies being spread, and often there would be persecution during this time. And so the Omer is actually the time where they collected all the sadness. And that's why often we don't have weddings or celebrations during the Omer. And oftentimes people don't shave their beard or cut their hair in any way during that period. We also have the counting of the Homer. This actually started as an internet site about 20 years ago. In the early time of the internet, there was a clever Jew who said, we have the Simpsons. I actually asked my children, do you know the Simpsons? And they actually do. It's still on, by the way. And this person said, well, we should have the counting of the Homer. It's kind of a funny way. There's been a lot over the years, a way of kind of thinking about this time period very differently. And we often think about it in terms of Kabbalah. So first of all, here is the counting. All you would need to do is to say this blessing like we did on Passover on the second night. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sfirat ha'omer. Blessed be God, King of the universe, who sanctifies us for your commandments and commands us to count the Omer. That's how simple it is. And today we would just say Hayom Yom Shisha B'Omer. Today is the 6th day of the Omer, which means that we have 43 days left until Shavuot. So that means Cantor and I have a little time off until then. But there's been some really nice Kabbalistic inventions over the years, and they've tried to take advantage and create new customs. This is an example of what it looks like. If you know the Sfirot, the different emanations of God, these are different pieces of God that they understand from a Kabbalistic point of view. So you have Chesed representing love, Gevurah, strength, Tiferet, beauty, Netzach. I forgot all the different, but these are all different components of God. Hod, Yesod, and Malchut. And you have it also over here. So it's kind of lined up. So the first day is love. It's the day of love. And then it's love combined with strength. And here's an example. This is from a rabbi in Philadelphia, Rabbi Yael Levy, who's at Mishkan Shalom over there. And she has a wonderful writing. And this is what you would do, for example, for this week. You would have kind of these various meditations into the expanse and receive in love. In this first week of the Omer, we notice what inspires our generosity, what causes us to close down and turn away. We wonder at our capacity to give and receive love. We turn toward the practice of responding to ourselves and to others with compassion and kindness. And she has similar readings about each of the weeks, but you can also get for all of the days. And it's a wonderful spiritual practice that people participate in. And as a ritual, all you have to do is say the day. So you just say it's day 6, day 7, day 8, and so on, and you fulfill it. They do say that if you miss one, then you're not allowed to do it anymore. You can't say the blessing. So it's really about the persistence of counting day to day. And luckily, we have a lot of apps that can help remind us. So if this is a tradition you want to embrace, it could be really fun for you to really find the spirituality. I've actually never done that myself, where you think about the different emanations of God every day. But I know a lot of people find comfort in it. And I hope through this explanation that you understand this whole process a little bit better, and that it's clear, so that if someone asks you, what's the Omer, you'll know exactly what it is. So thank you for joining me on this very brief lecture on the Omer. You're very welcome. So we're going to turn back into our service now. And I know Cantor has Aleinu prepared. So as she gets her screen share up, we'll rise for Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורבנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Thank you, Cantor. It's not up to us just to pray. We need to go out and do good deeds in this world. So I'm going to read from our memorial list tomorrow. Just a reminder, we do have Yisker services at 10:30, and you'll be able to tune in through our streaming service, Cantor and myself, and I think Ellen Frankie will be in the sanctuary then. We did have a loss in our community of Carlton or Carl DeBozen. If you knew him, he was a wonderful person, a lawyer in this community, very, very generous with his time, loved his family. And we said goodbye to him today, and our thoughts and prayers are with he and his wife, Alice, who is also a member, of course, and his 4 children. We're also thinking about Robert Eugene Powell, Jr., who is a cousin of Michelle Lawson. On our Shloshim list, we are remembering Helen Donnelly, Herb Foster, Charles Lemansky, Francis Massimo, and Levy Palmer Jr., all who died in the last 30 days. And on our yard site list from years past, we remember Fritz Bleichfeld, Morris Block, Harvey Chazen, Daniel Morris Cohen, William Elmy, Isadora Falkowitz, Louis Fink, Cicely Fox, Faye Freudenheim, Jean Fry, Alexandra Gerstel, Lester Glickman, Marvin Goldberg, Richard Holland, Dorothy Jumis Nurko, Sadie Karnofsky, Saul Kaufman, Mary Kerman, Louis Kranitz, Ralph Kushner, Sidney Lifton, Yetta Mandelkern, Kel Moore, Mark Muggleberg, Perry Nadel, Abraham Nosenchuk, William Olshan, Marlene Oppenheimer, Ethel Posner, Victor Prisnuk, Dorothy Rewin, Max Savasky, Belvira Shainin, David Schreiber, Violet Slepian, Harry Starr, Rose Stolberg, Esther Turk, Benjamin Ungerleader, Carol Wall, Dora Wolpin, and Deborah A. Zimmerman. I'm just going to check to see if anyone else. We also are remembering Marge Sisti, and Terry also mentioned the Capitol policeman who had perished. We are going to rise now for Moorish Kaddish, whose custom it is to rise. Please join with me. Yitkadal, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah, V'alma, V'ibra, V'irtei, V'imlik Malkutei, V'chayachon, V'yamachon, V'chayei, V'chol Beit Yisrael, V'agala, V'izman, Kari, V'imru Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah, Barach, Le'olam, Omei, Omaya. Yibarak, Yishtabak, Yipahar, Yitramam, Yitnaseh, Yitadar, Yitaleh, Yitalal, Shmei Dekudashah, Brechu. Leila, Yinkol Birchata, B'shirata, Tush B'chata, B'nechamata, Damiran, B'alma, B'imru, Amen. Yehi Shlom Rabbah, Min Shemaya, Chayim Aleinu, B'al Kol Yisrael, B'imru, Amen. Oseh Shalom B'imramav, Hu Yaseh Shalom, Aleinu, B'al Kol Yisrael, B'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel, B'imru, Amen. May God grant peace to all our loved ones and to the world. You may be seated, and I'd like to call on Bruce Chorus to offer the announcements. And that's one of our main ones coming up tomorrow.
Okay, Shabbat Shalom again, everyone, and happy Passover. We hope that you have enjoyed all of our Passover offerings, and we are not done with them yet. Well, let's go right to this, actually. Tomorrow night at 7:00 p.m., we will be wrapping up Passover with a very festive concert featuring our good friend Noah Budin. That will be along with David Budin on bass and Alan Douglas on keyboard. That is tomorrow night at 7:00. It will be on Boxcast, Facebook, and YouTube. And if any of you have been to any of our summer special services where Noah has joined us, you'll know just how much fun tomorrow night's concert will be. We certainly appreciate him joining us again, and we thank Cantor for making all of these arrangements. Speaking of which, yes.
Bruce, can I say something? From
Sure
what I understand, everybody's switching around on the instruments, so I kind of lost count as to who's playing what instrument during this, but it should be really entertaining.
Got it. Okay. So it's a Budin free-for-all in addition to a Noah Budin concert. Should be a lot of fun. Thank you, Rabbi Alex Cantor Frank and Mike Frank, for tonight's wonderful Passover service. Speaking of our services and Passover and our traditions and all of that, next week, just so you guys know, our worship committee will be meeting. And as you know, we've talked about planning a service in the sanctuary late in April. And knock on wood, as of now, that is still in the plans. And we hope to finalize everything in our meeting next week and look ahead to other things as well. As the weather changes and warms up, we will be back in the parking lot before you know it. And we will be together in one way or another. Tomorrow morning, we have Torah study, 9 a.m., Shabbat morning service with Shir Hadash Milwaukee, and a virtual Kiddush luncheon at 11. Those are both via Zoom. The website will have the links. As the rabbi mentioned earlier, there is a Passover Yitzchar service at 10:30 tomorrow morning. That's via Boxcast, Facebook, and YouTube. There is no religious school on Sunday. However, there is Shalom Ruach on Sunday night at 7 with Dr. Yanina Foster. That'll be on Zoom, song, chant, silence, and sharing. Everyone is welcome for that. Next Friday, candle lighting at 6:45 p.m. and then Erev Shabbat service at 7, followed by a virtual Onig. They're both on Zoom. The candle lighting, anyone can join. The service, you do need to register for, and those links, of course, are on the website or will be. Paul and Walter, good news. Chevetas is back. It is going to be Tuesday, April 13th from 4 to 7 or until sold out. Get ready for the first taste of summer. It is drive-through only, masks, social distancing required, and we will have pre-orders on our website so you can save a buck and guarantee that you will get a meal because they sell out every single time. Oh, look at that. Carol just messaged me in chat that Paul has already got their dinners reserved. He is a very, very efficient Chevetas person. I can guarantee that. I will see him driving through right around 4 o'clock. I guarantee it. By the way, we mentioned earlier, but I think maybe this was before the live stream started. But we do want to wish Jenny Pohl a happy 101st birthday tomorrow. For those of you who are wondering who else was born in 1920, I did a little homework. Mickey Rooney, who's actually taller than Jenny. Mickey Rooney is taller than Jenny, go figure. Walter Matthau, Yul Brynner, Peggy Lee. For you Star Trek fans, James Doohan and DeForest Kelley were both born in 1920. Ricardo Montalban, so if Jenny, you ever had a Chrysler Cordoba with that fine Corinthian leather, you have a connection to him. And finally, someone who I think had a profound impact on Jenny, and that was Timothy Leary. He was also born that year. By the way, also in Pope John Paul II was born that year. Also that year, Prohibition kicked in. The women got the right to vote. Wonder Bread was invented. And on a hopeful note, the Spanish flu epidemic ended. And we hope this year that our current pandemic comes to a close. So a lot went on in 1920. You need anything, feel free to reach out to the rabbi, the cantor, Joanne, or myself. We are here for you. Have a wonderful Shabbat. Happy Passover. Those of you that are on Zoom, please stick around. We will continue following the service for an onig and a shmooze. I think that covers everything. Shabbat shalom, everyone.
So we're doing Adon Olam to the tune of Dayenu tonight. They say that you can do Adon Olam. Sing Adon Olam to any tune. Well, lo and behold, I was with a friend on the phone today, and she started singing Adon Olam to Dayenu, and I said, wow, that sounds good. She said, well, I'm just making it up now. So we kind of finessed it this afternoon, and I hope you enjoy it, and I think you could sing along. Adon Olam, Hashem Allah, B'terem kol Yitzir Nivra, Yeit Nasa, B'chefzo kol, Azay Melech, Shemo Nikra, V'achare Kitlot HaKol, Levado Yilot Nora, Hu Haya V'hu Hoveh, V'hu Yeh B'tifara, Adon Olam, Hashem Allah, B'terem kol Yitzir Nivra, V'yeit Nasa, B'chefzo kol, Azay Melech, Shemo Nikra, V'hu Echad V'yein Sheni, Chamshi Lo L'Hachbira, B'li Reshit B'li Tachlit V'lo Ha'oz Ha'misra, Adon Olam, Hashem Allah, B'terem kol Yitzir Nivra, V'yeit Nasa, B'chefzo kol, Azay Melech, Shemo Nikra, V'hu Eli V'chai Koli, V'tzochef Li V'yeit Zara, V'hu Nisi Umanos Li Menakosi, B'yom Ekra, Adon Olam, sing with me, Hashem Allah, B'terem kol Yitzir Nivra, V'yeit Nasa, B'chefzo kol, Azay Melech, Shemo Nikra, B'yado Avkid Ruchi, V'yeit Dishon V'Ahira, Im Ruchi Geviati, Adonai Li V'lo Ira, Adon Olam, Hashem Allah, B'terem kol Yitzir Nivra, V'yeit Nasa, B'chefzo kol, Azay Melech, Shemo Nikra.
That was great. And my favorite part about it was watching Harvey Horowitz was singing along so great. I think you got the wrong bread there, Cantor.
Oh,
We're
my
gonna-
heavens! It's
Don't make everyone starve in here.
Oh,
you're
no,
getting
we
our hopes
best
up,
get
Cantor.
off of that quick.
We're gonna go back to matzah. That's for next week. And I know Joanne's got some matzah ready for us.
I do. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Hamotzi lachem min haaretz. Amen.
So we're going to end as we usually end our Seders. We're going to end with Lishana Haba'ah B'Yerushalayim, and then Lishana Haba'ah next year we'll celebrate together. So join us. Lishana Haba'ah, Lishana Haba'ah, Lishana Haba'ah B'Yerushalayim, Lishana Haba'ah, Lishana Haba'ah, Lishana Haba'ah B'Yerushalayim, Lishana Haba'ah, Lishana Haba'ah B'Yerushalayim, Lishana Haba'ah, Lishana Haba'ah B'Yerushalayim, Lishana Haba'ah, Lishana Haba'ah, Lishana Haba'ah, celebrate together. Lishana Haba'ah, Lishana Haba'ah, Lishana Haba'ah, celebrate together.
As you came in peace, may you leave in peace. And I invite you to join us in the after Zoom room right here, right, to talk and kvetch or whatever you'd like to do. Thank you for joining us. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
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 Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
Bruce, we will see you for the chicken.
Oh, I know that.